Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lex, and I would greatly appreciate if you would support me, support the channel by liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. It helps to get the videos out there, and it inspires me to keep creating. We're already to 6,400 subscribers, and mind y'all, I just reached 6,000 last week. So you guys have been rolling in, and it is such a blessing. Honestly, we are going to be recapping the last 3 episodes of the Traitors. I think it's episodes 10, 11, and 12, which is the reunion. We're gonna be talking about all 3 of them in this video. I know I've been a little bit behind on the weekly Traitors videos. That's why we got, we're just gonna give a final season wrap up basically in this video. This might also be more like thoughts based and just my opinions rather than a play by play, if that makes sense, because I just want to wrap up my thoughts, talk about the last few episodes, and get this season wrapped up. I think this was an interesting season. If you did not watch the Traitors, and for some reason this happens to be the first video you're watching, I would definitely recommend to head back to my channel. I did a video on every single episode this season. There's a playlist here, the Traitors US, and I would go ahead and not only watch the season, but then watch my commentary afterwards. It was a fun season. I enjoyed watching it. It's a great show, and yeah, so let's jump into it. All right, so episode 10, we start off with Britney going to the turret. She gets a letter from Danielle because remember, Danielle has to recruit, and basically the challenge is either accept or off. You are done.
Have you just been doing?
So Britney's going down and it's Danielle. Now, I know there's a lot of speculation out there that Britney already knew Danielle was a traitor. It was a whole thing. I don't believe that. I'm sure Britney probably had her suspicions that Danielle was a traitor, but I don't think she officially told her. Of course, Britney accepts, and I think it was a terrible idea to recruit Britney. I just personally feel like it was way too obvious. And yes, I understand in retrospect that Britney and Danielle, they were likely effed either way. I think that people saw them as a duo, even though if you are aware of Big Brother, watch Big Brother, are in the Big Brother community, Britney and Danielle have never been that close. I don't know. I think on this show, their relationship was overblown to make it seem like they were much closer than they were. But the two of them really have not been close in that capacity. And so to me, I think regardless with this group of faithfuls, they were always going to have heat on them. But I still stand by the fact that I think Dylan would have been Danielle's best choice to recruit. I think that she and Dylan had a close relationship. I think that Dylan is also the voice of a lot of the faithfuls. I think the faithfuls put a lot of their trust in Dylan and think that he is really strategic, really logical. And so to me, I think it was terrible. But anyways, we get back to breakfast and we do find out that they choose to banish Tom.
Literally, yeah.
We made our decision, so let's kill Tom.
I know that he's onto you. And tomorrow.
Now, banishing Tom, I think, was a fine idea. I think that I don't think anybody would have really felt either way that it was anybody specific. So I do think going for Tom was the best for both of their games. I don't think it put an extra target on their back. So basically, the biggest thing that starts up in episode 10 is this theory from Gabby, which remember started in episode 9 after the round table, after the big Carolyn and Danielle fight. Gabby really brought it to a lot of the house, talking about some, I feel like that was maybe some potential traitor on traitor fighting. That was a little bit weird. Why is it that the two of them were so aggressive towards each other? And again, having that remembrance that Bob the drag queen and Rob had that huge, massive blow up and it ended up being traitor on traitor, Gabby again has had it in her head. And remember, Gabby has kind of always had a little thing for Danielle throughout the season. She's mentioned the crying. She's mentioned the cough. There's been a lot of different things that have come up, but I feel like Gabby has been locking and loading it in her brain for a really long time. So Gabby does start to bring this traitor theory to Dylan. Now, Dylan is really confused. As we know, Dylan and Danielle, they claim that they are the closest. They've had this super deep relationship. We haven't really, in my personal opinion, seen a lot of their gaming together, at least that I remember, but they both claim that they have a really close relationship. So of course, when Gabby brings this over to Dylan, Dylan is like, really? That's really crazy because, like, I'm not too sure about that entire thing. She's somebody that I've trusted this whole time. But Gabby is really, really pushing this traitor on traitor, traitor on traitor.
See that too. Gabby voted for you and not Carolyn. Exactly. I wouldn't mind voting for her.
To be on the same page.
Yeah. Look, you don't have to just sell me on Gabby. I haven't had trust with her this entire game.
Now, Britney decides to go talk to Ivar, who he is basically like maybe on the Danielle boat. That was a little weird. You know, Ivar, he's always kind of taking everybody else's theories and then running with them. So Britney starts to cry about Danielle, the performance of the year, talking about how she loves Danielle. She and Danielle are so close. And again, I'm going to be honest. I think that Danielle recruiting Britney basically shot Britney's game in the foot. I don't know if that's true. As I said, I think Britney and Danielle were always going to have a target on their back if they chose to link themselves together in the game, which they did start to make it clear to people that they were working together. So Ivar, once again, is now on the Danielle theory because she's always so nervous. She's so jittery, the big performances. And again, Ivar, Gabby presented this theory, I believe, to Ivar as well before about Danielle's theatrics, the crying. And I think Danielle has been able to get away with a lot of this because there's always been somebody else that was a bigger target. But I've always mentioned week after week after week after week, I just feel like Danielle really, really, really I don't know. I feel like she was doing too much, and I feel like it was putting a target on her back. It was really crazy, in my personal opinion. So basically going into the competition, the running name is Danielle. Everybody's kind of onto her. At this point, the theatrics are getting in people's head. So we have this competition. This is a 3-part competition where they are competing for the Seer, and it has a lot of elements of the different competitions we've seen this season.
There's 5 skulls and all of the...
Then you will decide to keep pulling for more cash or to bank it. But be warned, pull one too many times and risk losing. Final challenge. Hidden in bags around these woods is gold coins. Each gold coin is worth $100.
And one where they have to pop balloons with the clowns, one where they have to sit with the dolls and pull the string on the doll. So last one, they have to go into the forest and find these coins. So again, with the doll competition, there was a lot of speculation online that the competition was rigged because Danielle happened to get the highest paying doll. Now, going out of that competition, it was Danielle, Britney, and Dolores. I believe they were the only 3 that had money, and I think Danielle and Britney were number 1 and number 2 for the highest amount. We didn't know going into the 3rd competition how much money it was, and Alan lets us know he's not revealing that until after the round table. So going back into the house, everyone is on Danielle, and Britney is trying to basically convince like everyone. She's trying to talk to Danielle and be like, I don't know, but I feel like people are really on you. So Dylan also is telling Danielle, hey, I'm going to just keep it straight with you tonight. It's probably going to be between you and Gabby. So then Danielle's like, oh, my guns are ablazing then. If it's me, I'm ready to go in swinging and fighting. And at this point, once again, Britney is trying to say, it's you and I till the end. It's you and I till the end. But again, if you really know Danielle and Britney's relationship, you know that I'm going to keep it real. I think that Britney was willing to stab Danielle. I don't know that Danielle would have been as willing to stab Britney, but I do think that Britney would be willing to stab Danielle. So I think if you're aware of their relationship, you know that the words are... And at the end of the day, if you came to this competition, you're coming for the money. So roundtable. We basically have a back and forth between Danielle and Gabby.
I think that was traitor on traitor in my mind.
I'm a faithful to be finished. Yeah. On top of that, the murders don't make sense.
Once again, Gabby's biggest argument is that Danielle is with the theatrics, the traitor on traitor fighting with her and Carolyn. That was a really big thing. It looked really weird. Danielle's basic rebuttal was that, okay, well, all of the people voted out are my friends. So if I was a traitor, why would I vote out all of my friends? And Gabby says, well, me too. So Gabby kind of derails that argument, but that is the main points from both sides. That Danielle's like, why would I vote out my friends? Everybody that left is somebody that I cared about. If I was a traitor, that just does not make sense. So we basically go into this first vote and it is a tie. It is a tie between Ivar and Danielle. Now, one thing that was very, very sus is that Dolores, she had said out loud, I'm 100% going for Ivar tonight. Period. That's my vote. And then Danielle and Britney also voted for Ivar, which just seemed like, to me, put such a target on the two of their backs. Why in the world would them three just follow along with Dolores? I get it. They wanted to seem like faithful. So they're like, oh, the faithful of the faithful said that she's voting for Ivar. But it just, I feel like in retrospect, they did not realize how much of a target it put on their back. So once again, they have a revote and Danielle is pleading to Dylan at this point. She is really, really, really trying to get Dylan back on her side. I don't think it's going to work. I think Dylan was very convinced at this point, especially seeing the fact that pretty much everybody else was on his side outside of the two suspected traitors and Dolores, who's always wrong. There was no point. There was just no way. Again, I think Danielle was toast. Danielle and Britney, for the record, I thought they were toast. I think that the leading theory was the two of them, and I think there was really almost nothing they could do. So we end off on this cliffhanger. Now we see Britney in the confessional saying that she thought Dolores would change her vote because she looked at Gabby a certain way. She gave her eyes. So because of this, we basically need one more vote to get Danielle out. And we leave off on Britney. If Britney changed her vote, bye Danielle. If Britney doesn't change her vote, hi Danielle. So let's jump into episode 12, or episode 11, sorry. So once again, we leave off on 2 for Danielle, 1 for Ivar, and the final vote is Britney. And if it was a tie again, they would have went to a coin toss. So there was so much debate on whether or not people thought it was going to be a coin toss. Is it not going to be a coin toss? For me personally, I always thought that Britney was going to change her vote. Why wouldn't she? I just feel like, why would you be the odd man out continuing to vote out Ivar? It's just so obvious.
Wow.
Did it to me again.
No, I didn't. If you're a game player, you know you can't put that kind of target on your back. So once again, Britney reveals her vote. She is sobbing. I thought it wouldn't save you. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I thought it wouldn't save you. Danielle, you did it to me again. You did it to me again. I didn't do it to you again. It's okay. Again. So Danielle is banished. And as I said, I just feel like there was really no way this was going to happen. And I honestly, Britney also had a target on her back. Danielle and Britney, I think they were just So anyway, Danielle does reveal that she is a traitor as Britney is still sobbing at the table. Everyone's praising her, saying, oh my God, amazing job. You did it. You did it. You did it. Don't worry about it. You did it. You are a gamer. Blah, blah, blah. Now, Danielle says in her confessional before she leaves, she should have never trusted Britney. She should have offed her instead of recruiting her. And I'm like, I'm just not sure what you thought was going to happen, Danielle. I don't know. I think Danielle's biggest mistake of the season was not bringing Dylan in as a traitor. 100%. So Britney does claim in her confessional that she wanted to win this game with Danielle, but she'd always be a target, so there was really no way. And yes, Britney, that's smart and all, but again, you have to keep in mind that you already had a target on your back anyway. So we learned there is going to be no offing tonight, and that this is the last time they are going to know someone's identity. And we also see that Britney got the power of the Seer. Do y'all think Danielle won it and then Britney was second place, or that Britney originally won it? It's one of the two. So post roundtable, Dolores is blown away. Dolores, the person who has been lost in this game from day one, she is blown away by Danielle being a traitor. Dylan is telling everyone that if Britney, since she's the Seer, whoever Britney calls in, she's going to say that they are a traitor if she's a traitor. So once again, Dylan is putting out another theory to see if it's going to come true. And that's fair. So Dylan does realize that Danielle had something nice to say about everyone else at the table besides Britney. And again, do I think Dylan is the best game player this season? No. But do I think in terms of putting things together, having the Hawkeye, remembering all the evidence and going from place to place to place, do I think Dylan has been pretty on it? Yes. Dylan and Gabby, I have to give it to them. And again, this season of Faithfuls, have they been the best? Absolutely not. So when I say they've been the best, I'm talking about best in comparison to the people we had this season. Not necessarily best on the Traitors, but yeah, I just think that the two of them have been very good at recalling the evidence from the previous nights and using it to formulate correct theories. You don't have to like them as people, but their theories a lot of times have been correct. So the Seer dinner, Britney, she does choose Gabby, so they go on it.
It is like, I know for sure. So shall we,
Let's see.
reveal your true identity?
Yeah.
And Britney's trying to save face, saying that she was trying to be on Danielle's side the whole time, but the second vote, she just could not risk it anymore. Gabby is confused. You could tell Gabby doesn't really know if Britney is a Seer. Britney is a traitor, excuse me. And I do think that the traitors that are brought in late game, they always have the advantage that they played 75% of the game as a faithful. So you're not going to be acting as jittery, as weird, as scared as a late game traitor. So I think that Britney can hold her composure a little bit better. So now Britney is like, I don't know how many traitors are left. I don't know how many there are. And Gabby's like, oh my God. But they now open this card and inside it does say that Gabby is a faithful. So Britney, she fakes being relieved, like, oh my God, thank God, thank God. And now it comes down to, is Britney going to pretend that Gabby is a traitor and tank her game, or try to tank her game and thus tank her own game because Dylan put the theory out there? Or is she just going to tell the truth? So everyone shows up at breakfast, and the big question is, how is Britney going to use this Seer power? So Gabby and Britney, they come into the breakfast last. Britney is explaining, hey, I chose Gabby because I've been having suspicions about her. I feel like her name has been thrown out there. I just needed to put it to rest. But Gabby is a faithful, and Gabby is so relieved. Dylan is spiraling. Dylan is like, wait, what? She said that Gabby's a faithful? Hold up. Then I am confused now, because I was expecting her to say that she's a traitor, and it was going to make it very clear that Britney is a traitor, and it was going to all be over. But instead, she said she's a faithful. So now he's like, is there somebody in here that I've been trusting that is actually a traitor? Dylan is literally spiraling. He has no idea. Now, Britney does realize in her confessional that saying that Gabby is a traitor, all it was going to do was create drama, create a back and forth, because obviously Gabby's going to sit here and say, I'm not a traitor, and it would have probably made both of them look suspicious. So I agree. I think it would have been a pretty bad plan to try to throw her under the bus as a traitor. I didn't realize for this power, she was going to have to do it at the breakfast table. I thought she was going to be able to just like reveal it when she wanted to. But yeah, if you have to do it at the breakfast table, to me at this point in time, I don't think it would have made sense to say that Gabby was a traitor. So now Dylan is basically like, wait a minute, I am so confused. And there is one theory I didn't think of. that maybe Gabby and Britney are traitors and they've been working together to throw us all off. So now Dylan is on that completely. He is super worried. So post roundtable, Gabby is talking with Dylan and Ivar and asking, do you guys feel that any traitors are left? Do you think we got them all? They both agree that there are probably more traitors left. Now, Ivar is still on Dolores. I don't know why Ivar and Tom Sandoval were so on Dolores. It was just crazy. Ivar, though, points out that Dolores has never voted for the last two traitors in the roundtable. So Gabby does realize maybe she could have been protected by Danielle, or she could have been working with Danielle. And I'm like, Dolores of all people. So Dylan and Britney. Dylan really wants to talk one-on-one with Britney at this point because, again, Dylan is spiraling. He really does not remember what is going on. So Dylan realizes that Danielle was super mad at Britney, but she was actually guilty. So now, because of that, Dylan is realizing, wait a minute. If she was so mad, but it was actually her, that would mean that Britney is acting. And if Britney's acting, the only reason you need to act in this game is if you're a traitor. Okay, Dylan, fair point. Once again, I think Dylan, he's not always right, but when he's right, he is exactly right. Like, he is hawk-eyed, perfect, perfectly neat signature on the paper. Like, he is perfect with it when he is on point. So Dylan, at this point, his plan for the first roundtable is to banish Britney. He is done with it all. Britney, though, realizes, oh boy, I need to get the girls together and try to get them to get out Dylan. Here's the problem, Danielle, or Britney, sorry. I just feel that, one, Gabby doesn't fully trust you. I think you have gained more of her trust. And again, I think it was a super smart move for Britney to tell the truth, because that was another way to earn some of Gabby's trust. But I still just don't feel that she had enough of the trust to make that happen. So meanwhile, Dolores is asking Dylan, is it Britney or Ivar tonight? Who is it gonna be? And you know Dolores, she just goes with vibes. Dolores plays this game completely on vibes. So you're not gonna talk strategy with her and get her to give you something great. Dylan is trying to convince her that Ivar is a faithful, because remember, once again, Dylan thinks that Ivar is the faithful of the faithfuls, and Ivar and Dylan in particular have this theory still that there's maybe 1 to 2 more women in the game that were traitors. So Ivar walks in and he's like, you not gonna vote for me tonight, right, Dolores? Right? Dolores is like, I do not know what I am about to do tonight. So Britney and Gabby. Britney once again, or Gabby, sorry, thanks Britney once again for not turning on her. She could have. It was very easy. So at this point, Britney is feeling like Dylan is acting super weird today, and he's been acting real weird since the last competition. Yeah, because he was on to your buddy, Danielle. So Gabby is not writing Dylan off yet as a potential traitor, because he has also came for her. Like, Dylan has put out Gabby's name quite a few times. These two have a tango going on where sometimes they hate each other and sometimes they love each other. So the mission, basically they have to find these bags of money. There's a scroll and there's these fancy cars and these chests full of money, and they have to use the clues to find the money in 30 minutes or it's going to go away. So Dylan and Dolores, they're in one car. Everybody's being transported over to the next spot once they find it. And Dylan is basically telling Ivar in the car about Dolores and Britney potentially being traitors. And I'm like, Dolores? Why are y'all so sus about Dolores? So they get to the second clue, they get to this spot, and Alan basically tells them, look, y'all can double your money. All you have to do is dangle off this helicopter, drop this money into these rings of fire on the ground, and for everything you drop in there, you double it.
Hold on to me! Oh my god. I might pee.
Here they come.
So Britney and Dolores go first. They miss, but they finally get 2 bags in. Then Ivar goes alone. He misses 1, but gets 1 in. Dylan and Gabby go 2 in, 2 out. And they add a grand total of $37,500 to the prize pot, making a whopping total of $204,300 in the prize pot. Now, Britney realizes that by Dylan and Gabby going on the helicopter together, this is probably going to build up some trust between the two of them. So now she really needs to go into overdrive mode to make sure that she still has Gabby on her side and that Gabby is not feeling Dylan in that way. And Gabby does even say in her confessional, you know, Dylan was really comforting up there. I did feel comfortable and safe with him up there, but don't tell anybody though. I'm like, oh boy. So post-mission, Britney is going on the attack against Dylan. Basically, she pulls the girls aside and she's like, you know, Danielle's reaction when Dylan voted for her was really weird. She said unbelievable, and that's kind of strange. Why would she feel that way off the random? Maybe it's possible that they could have been in something. They could have been working together. She tries to remind the girls, remember, anybody here can be a traitor. And even though you guys or anybody might think that people are the faithfuls of the faithfuls, it could be anybody in this house. So why not Dylan? So Gabby is like, I'm gonna be honest, I had no real idea that Dylan and Danielle were this close, but that information is interesting to hear about and think about. So now Gabby is kind of back on her I'm not really feeling Dylan like that train, saying that Dylan will do what he wants when he wants and expects people to follow him, but his reads have been off. And she even remembers that Dylan has come at her at some points and been off. And I think, again, that is a fair point. I think Dylan, probably out of anyone in the house, was the most respected faithful. But as I've pointed out, and as you know, many are pointing out here, Dylan has been off and he's been wrong. And I do think it's interesting that Dylan has never been suspected as a traitor. Ever. So very, very interesting. So Britney is continuing to tell Dolores that Dylan is going to pick off every single person until it's just him and Gabby. He said, you know, again, they have that feud. They're going to want to be together at the end. Remember that. Remember, Dolores just goes off vibes. So I do think she is the person that could be the most easily swayed in this house. So Britney is trying to convince Dolores that all Dylan wants is the money and that she would never ice her out of the money. So once again, Dylan and Ivar. Dylan is confirming once again to Ivar that he is 100% voting Britney. Ivar's like, but what about Gabby though? I just don't know about Gabby. So Dylan says the only way that he feels like Gabby would be a traitor is if both of them are traitors and they have teamed up. So Dylan once again then goes to Gabby and says, I am 100% voting Britney, but of course Gabby is unsure. Gabby has also been talking with Britney, and remember, Britney did gain some of that trust from Gabby because of the seer power. So Dolores comes in and she's like, let me know right now. Let me know if you are voting me out to these people in the room. Let me know. And I'll take it with pride. But let me know. Dylan is like, I am not a traitor. I swear I'm not a traitor. Ciao. On to the last round table. So last round table, very, very silent for a little while, but Gabby does chime in and Britney chimes in. I don't know. One of them chimes in and then Britney chimes in and says, look, Gabby's a faithful. I believe Gabby starts and Britney's like, she's a faithful. Just want to say it. But Britney, once again, Gabby is thanking her for saving her with the seer power, making sure that she's okay. Now, Ivar decides that he's going to come yet again at Dolores. He says he's had a number of suspicions that she's a traitor. Dolores is like, I will give it a sec. I don't have enough evidence against you to say that you are a traitor, Ivar, but I've had some suspicions. Ivar goes on this whole tangent about how he grew up in the public eye. In his childhood, it was always the biggest thing to not be in the newspaper because he's a member of the royal family. So he doesn't do drama. And I'm like, cool, Ivar, doesn't matter. Everybody always wants to give these little personal stories. So Dylan chimes in and he's like, look, I'm writing Britney's name down for sure. Period. He's the only person that I had a serious suspicion about right now.
At this table that has had serious suspicion. You had it from Derek. You went head to head with Boston Rob.
And I started thinking, how can he possibly suspect me when our games have really closely mirrored each other?
From Derek, Boston Rob, Danielle, you did it to me. You know, when Danielle said, you did it to me again, maybe there's something there. What does that all mean? He thinks they were in the turret together, planning to win and have that storybook ending. And again, as I say, when Dylan's right, he is very, very right. Okay, he's very, very right. Now, Britney says, well, it wasn't really a great look what Danielle said to you when you voted against her, when she said, unbelievable, that's crazy. That wasn't a great look either. And in addition to that, you really wanted to be the seer. And why would somebody really, really want to be the seer unless they were a traitor? So Dylan now starts to act like he's all hurt. He's like, I am blown away. Like, I am so blown away that you would say this about me. The accusations. This is crazy. He starts to act like he's real butthurt. And
Would Dylan have turned it down? He is the faithful of the faithfuls.
The way you're attacking me.
you know, I liked Britney's clap back because Britney was like, so you get to accuse me, but I don't get to accuse you? That doesn't make any sense. And I felt that because I'm like, hold up, Dylan. What happened to this strong Dylan who always has all these points to bring out? Now when someone comes at you, all of a sudden you hurt. Britney goes in and she's like, look, when someone attacks me, I go in. I'm going to make sure to defend myself. Dylan chimes back and says, just like Danielle. And I'm like, ooh. Ooh. Now Dylan says, look, I'm going to be honest. I think you were recruited. And Dylan... Dylan. Now, Britney says, well, okay, you want to say I was recruited, but how could I say that you were not recruited? You are the faithful of the faithfuls. Wouldn't that be the least obvious choice for someone to recruit you? So that way there would be no target on their back. Now, Ivar's like, well, I think you were kind of like the meekest of the traitors. Everybody else was super loud. Everybody else had a lot to say. Britney chimes in, do I look meek to you, Ivar?
But if you were, let's say, the meekest of all the traitors, you would go.
Do I seem meek to you, Ivar?
And they did that little pan with the music, and I was like, oh, I love that scene. Ivar says, in comparison to everyone else, yeah. So Britney's like, why would I get rid of all my friends and let them off all my friends if I was a traitor? Anyways, we get on to the vote. Britney votes for Dylan. Dylan votes for Britney, Ivar Britney, Dolores Britney, and Gabby Britney. It is a unanimous vote against Britney, and Britney is banished. Of course, because this is the last roundtable, there is no revealing whether or not Britney is a traitor or a faithful, but now everybody's going to go out to the ring of fire for the final choice of whether to end the game here or banish. So everyone goes outside and they are given 2 bags, and basically you have to pick which bag you want. If you pick the green bag, then Alan lets you know the game will end here. And if you pick the red bag, then you will banish again. So throw your bag into the fire. If it burns green, you are burning to end. If it burns red, you are burning to banish. So we start off with Dylan. Dylan ends the game here. He says that he wants to end here because, number one, there was a lot of suspicion put onto him by Britney, and it is really, really convincing. So if they banish again, it is possible that he will be the one. But on top of that, he claims that he trusts everyone there. So Dylan burns green to end the game. Now, Dolores, she says she distrusts Dylan the most. So I was like, ooh, is Dolores gonna vote to get out, to banish again? Ivar votes to end the game as well. He trusts everyone here. Gabby votes to end the game. And lastly, we're on to Dolores, who also votes to end the game.
The faithful.
So it is a very uneventful ring of fire. There is not 2, 3 levels of banishment. They all feel safe, confident, comfortable. I guess they must have had a very, very strong feeling that Britney was a traitor. And because of that, they chose to end the game. They all split the money. They all get around $50,000. And lastly, it is revealed that Britney is a traitor and that they are all faithful. So I thought that was very interesting. It was kind of uneventful. I think, all things considered, I think it was cool that the 4 faithfuls won. I do think it is diabolical that Ivar and Dolores got to the end. But I think, again, people believe that these games are all just strategy. Who's going to come up with the most intricate twists and turns and plans out of everybody? And I think in reality, sometimes these games are social. And I think that Ivar and Dolores, they did a pretty good job at never making themselves the initial target. And yes, I understand that certain reputations, such as being a 2-time Survivor winner, being a Big Brother legend, things like that are going to be on your back no matter what you do. But I don't know. I think that's very interesting, very diabolical. I think the ending was anticlimactic. I expected Dylan to get to the end. I'll be honest. Dylan is definitely someone I saw. As I said, I think all of the faithfuls really, really trusted him from the beginning. I think him being spot on about Bob the drag queen and then being spot on about Britney, I think it gained a lot of trust with people. I think Dylan has put out a lot of theories that were right, so people always trusted him. And Gabby's not too shabby, okay? I think Gabby also had a lot of good theories, especially towards the end regarding Danielle, the traitor on traitor fighting. So all in all, it was okay. As I said, it wasn't a super messy ending, but that is that on that. Now we had the reunion, and I'm not gonna play by play the reunion because I feel like the reunion for this show is very but there's a couple of things I wanted to touch on that they talked about. The first big thing is the suspected theory that Danielle told Britney that she was a traitor. They both vehemently deny that this ever happened. They both vehemently deny that they could tell each other that they were traitors. Obviously, Danielle says that she really cares a lot about the NDA. Britney does talk about how people extrapolated certain things that she might have said in interviews as her saying that she knew 100%. But in reality, she never found that out or was told that she was a traitor 100%. There was no inside job. They also revealed that the two of them are not that close. And as I said again, I think that a lot of people, especially if you don't watch Big Brother or know anything about Big Brother, you would think these two are the closest. They hung out all the time. But in reality, Britney is like, look, I'm going to keep it real with you. Before reindeer games, we met 3 times. I spent a cumulative total of 3 hours with you prior to reindeer games. So we were not that close. This idea that we were super close and I was always supposed to have your back and I was always supposed to be there for you is just not true. Danielle does say that she understands Britney being a gamer, being a game player, and the move that she had to make. She doesn't hold it against her. She knows that this was what she had to do for her game and respects it because they both are gamers. Although I think Britney does try to claim she is not a gamer on the show. So they do also touch on the whole online thing going around. I think it was Carolyn that originally said on her podcast that Danielle was swearing up and down on her grandkids, and that was disgusting and terrible, that she was not a traitor. Now, Danielle explains the reason that she did this, and she did it multiple times, is because she knew that Dolores is Italian, that Dolores loves her family, that it's something that really would stick with her and really gain that trust that, oh, if I swear on my grandkids, that's something that Dolores is really going to stick with. Dolores understands. Dolores says, look, I get it. I know it was a game move. I know it was something that, you said to me because I was going to take it. I was going to believe it. I feel like people went so wild over this. And I don't know. I don't swear on people. That's not really the way that I talk. But do I think that that makes Danielle this diabolical, awful, horrible person? No. Swearing on people doesn't even mean anything. I was so surprised to see the response on the end. That literally means nothing. When people are like, I swear on my dog, I swear on my cat. What does that mean? It doesn't mean anything. But there's also a lot of other random talk. Derek gets his flowers for how good of a game player he was. Bob the drag queen says that he does not even remember coming after the caged boys and saying that in the game. Everybody seems to be on fairly decent terms. However, Carolyn, this entire thing was giving daggers to Danielle. But overall, we wrap this season up. Everybody is back. Some people look fabulous. Bob the drag queen looked fabulous. Ion looked fabulous. Okay, some people look so good on stage. This was a great season, y'all. This was a wonderful season. I really recommend the show. Obviously, go back and watch it. If you're watching here, though, you're probably not going to go watch backwards because I definitely spoiled the whole thing in this video. So anyway, but if you haven't watched it and you want to see how it played out word for word, bar for bar, it's still something good to look into. If you haven't seen season 2, thanks for those of y'all who have been here, because I know our little community here that watches this show is small, but you guys have been in the comments every week. I've loved reading your theories, loved reading your comments, and I do hope you stick around for some of the other content that I have coming. But if you made it to this point of the video, that means you like the video. So I would greatly appreciate if you would support the channel by liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. It helps to get the videos out there and it inspires me to keep creating. I am on the road to 10,000 subscribers, so it really does help when you guys interact with the videos. I do see the subscribers come rolling in. Thank you so much for your continued support, and I will talk to you guys in the next one. Bye!